Rounding out this opening block, a panel focused on building Oman ACG and a green reporting ecosystem moving from policy intent to standardized practical, with Muhannad Yahya Al-Jum'a from BIA, الش... عصام الشيباني from ASYAD and Ali Al-Ismaili from OQ, moderated by Ala Al-Habsi of OQ.
So, hello everyone. My name is Ala Al-Habsi and I am sustainability expert at OQ SOC. And today with me we have three leaders who are actually driving sustainability and not just talking about sustainability. So the pressure is a little bit high here. So my main objective of today's session is to have an honest conversation, understanding what works, what doesn't, and what takes us to move into from policies to practice in Oman. So before starting our session, I would like to welcome our panelists with us today. We have with us Essam Sheibany. Essam is a sustainability leader serving as a VP of Sustainability at ASYAD Group, where he leads the development and implementation of ESG and sustainability initiatives across the group logistics and supply chain operations. We also have engineer Muhannad Al-Jum'a. Muhannad Al-Jum'a is a sustainability executive with over 20 years of international leadership experience across technology, operation, and strategic role in several countries. Muhannad Al-Jum'a is a general manager of BIA Academy at Oman Environmental Service Holding Company, where he is leading ESG and local content integration, carbon management, capacity building, and national sustainability initiatives. Lastly, we have Ali Al-Ismaili. Ali Al-Ismaili is a seasoned sustainability professional with over a decade of experience in energy sector, specialized in sustainable development, corporate sustainability, sorry. She is currently the head of sustainability at OQ SOC, where she leads ESG performance, measurement and reporting, risk management, project delivery, and sustainability strategy development. So after this long introduction, I would like to start with you, Essam, and you know why. So Essam, ASYAD is one of the most active companies in terms of sustainability in Oman. So for someone within the audience that doesn't know what are ASYAD's projects and within sustainability, can you tell us what is one of the most projects that you are proud of in ASYAD in terms of sustainability?
Of course, Nasser already before me in the previous panel, he talked more about what exactly ASYAD doing or ASYAD Shipping is doing. But I can tell you that we talk numbers. So people, while still talking about decarbonization, ASYAD and its group have already spent $46 million on decarbonization. That people maybe don't know, we don't show it off. We already have put our mouth where it is. Maybe people spend a small amount of money, but we put big money, big value on decarbonization, and we still continuing doing that. One thing that we're also proud of, that sustainability is not an initiative, it's not a measurement we do, it's a part of our business plan every year. So every year when we put the numbers, we put the sustainability plan, this is what we're going to do next year. So it's embedded across all our businesses, across our plan. And that's where we say it is a business as usual. And when everyone congratulating us on winning sustainability award for platinum, yeah, this is business as usual as well for us. Exactly, because it's becoming a norm for us. We want to go even, we want people to challenge us, we can do more. Because of the spending, the results, the numbers, the KPI, all indicated very high. And I think because we're hitting half the curve. And that's why we're becoming very active. We don't publicize more because for many reasons. But we spend money on doing things rather than promoting things.
Very, very nice. And it's a very great example to showcase that sustainability in action, not just ambitious. So let's take a step back for a moment and talk about perceptions versus reality when it comes to ESG. So this question is for all of you. I would like to hear from a different perspective. So when people hear about ESG reporting, they often imagine a glossy document that no one reads. What makes ESG meaningful in practical rather than just compliance? So maybe we can start with you, Engineer Jamal.
Sure. Assalamu alaikum. Well, a glossy document, that's a nice way of putting it. But let's think about how the whole reporting story started. Sustainability reporting has been there for quite some time. I mean, for all I can remember, it has been there since, companies started calling them financial statements, right, or financial reports. A sustainability report is simply one of these reports that entities produce on an annual basis. They might have called it different names, right? But lately we've been calling it ESG reporting, sustainability reporting, in some places annual reporting. And the glossy part comes because initially most of these reports came as a response to compliance and regulations. So entities had to publish these reports, and it was a great opportunity for marketers and communication enthusiasts to utilize that platform, right, to talk about their entities. But then that was the first phase, and that's what normally most processes go through or projects go through, right? You start by practicing the thing. Muscat Stock Exchange in 2023 announced that ESG report was a voluntary initiative, and the year after it was compulsory, right? And in the first year, when they announced that it is a voluntary practice, 90% of registered companies produced it. The year after, 100%, right? Because it became a compulsory exercise, right? Now we moved on, right? Or that's what we're supposed to see, right? Entities are supposed to move on from, just practicing it as a compulsory exercise and start utilizing sustainability reports for what they are, right? They are reports to be utilized for business decisions, right? Shareholders use it to know where should they invest in, capital investment decisions. Executives use it to read numbers and build their decisions accordingly. And every function within the entity is expected to use it, utilize it in their day-to-day business decisions, right? So once we manage to make that move from being, a marketing or a communication document into an actual business document that we base our decisions on, right? That's where we will see the value coming out of those sustainability reports.
Yes. Thank you. Essam, maybe you want to add something to that?
I think we moved away from glossy reports where we just do it online. Sometimes we don't even announce that we publish something. We just pop into our website, you see it there. It's mainly, we use it for people who want to know more about us. Yeah. And we don't want to communicate. Sometimes we be selective. For example, our first report 2022, we didn't announce. It is published on the website silently. 2024, we were late for many reasons to publish it. Then it will be published without announcement and everything. It's the event like this where we announce our achievements or our things that we do, our projects, our achievement that we do. We are more focused on publishing a report is not achievement anymore. It's like a normal business again. But again, the achievement that you do, what exactly you be proud of for the one. That's what exactly you want to, people will take the first step like us. The learning from the report is important. So every year we have to do it. I'll tell you how many people now have done the report within us because we keep changing people, now new people on board. And that's the learning curve as an organization, collecting data, analyzing data, and writing the narrative for each report. And that's exactly the learning when we do it. Once you have more people to learn, of course, use widespread the sustainability thinking sustainability initiative around the group. And that's exactly the importance.
Interesting. Thank you, Sam. Alia, you have anything to add about that?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Ala. Yeah, building on what was said, I remember back in 2013 when I worked on my first ever sustainability report. It was more of a exercise in voluntary reporting and transparency. We have come a long way since then, and that practice had risked having sustainability be separate from the rest of the business. And the way that these reports create value is by integrating it more and more into decision making, risk management, performance monitoring processes. Governance is also a very important factor here. Having strong structures, clear accountability and ownership, and measurable targets, so that our report tells a story of how we have developed year on year, what's the progress that we have made, and we tell that story in our report rather than just reporting numbers without context. And as Engineer Muhannad mentioned, using this data to inform decisions is the most important aspect, rather than reporting for the sake of compliance or ticking a box.
Thank you very much, everyone. I totally agree with what was said. So basically, reporting or the ESG report is not just a glossy document. It's more than that. And for an organization to use it in the proper way, it's even in their rights. Like when you use it on the perfect manner, then you as an organization, you will benefit from it. It's not just a technical box. It's more into a roadmap for you as an organization on where you want to become and where do you want to reach for an organization. So Muhannad, you are in a unique position where you assist organizations across the board. In partnership with the Center of Sustainability and Excellence, you score companies through the Oman Sustainability Index. So some companies improve their scores dramatically. Is that real progress, or is just they are getting better in the paperwork and the storytelling?
Well, I guess it's a combination of both. In reality, ESG reporting is all about transparency, right? It's all about disclosure, right? And it's disclosure of critical information, right? Data that can make stakeholders make decisions, right? Whether they're shareholders, whether they're investors, possible investors, whether it's the public, whether it's regulators, right? And the authorities within the country. Are we expecting reporting expertise to increase? Yes, absolutely. Seriously, we want you to improve reporting, right? It needs to be more informative. It needs to cut on the, all the fats on the side, right? That doesn't help with making decisions. At the same time, it should involve data that again helps make decisions, right? And what we've seen across the years with the Oman Sustainability Index is that small medium entities have made the biggest leaps, right, in terms of improvement, right? Since last year, 25 to 26, the largest increase was around 17%. Right, which is huge, right? When it comes to sustainability indices, right? While in general it was around 8% for the all of the entities. So yes, there is improvement in data, there is improvement in quality, and once we see the company itself uses its own sustainability report or ESG report to gather information, to do its analysis, or even report and generate, data for targeted stakeholders, that's when you realize that their ESG report is actually valuable, right? When they themselves use it rather than just advertise it, right? And I think that was a very good example by Essam when he said we no longer advertise our reports, right? Because we believe that that's what we should be doing, right? And nothing against advertising your report. Some entities might not know that you're advertising your report, so if you're not doing it, please do it at the beginning. But as you progress, you'd realize that you don't need to advertise it anymore, right?
Thank you very much. So moving to Essam, Essam, you are in a highly operational and interconnected sector. So what does it take to translate sustainability goals into actions across complex logistics systems such as ports, shipping, and supply chains?
So we refer back to the annual plan. All our business units has an annual plan. We call sustainability annual plan. And that plan contain element of environment, social, and governance, and they have to comply all together on it. We are happy we see it throughout the years. In the beginning, I think we were scoring a low on that, but again now because it's linked to the overall performance of each business unit, you see that a good improvement altogether. Even in one of the year, all the business units was scored 0 because there was no complying. So it was a good punishment for the business unit because they are not complying, but we can see that now they understand, they give a more serious, more plan, and it is embedded in everything. And then maybe it could be in one department who actually is responsible in following up and updating the plan. But however, that department is also coordinating with all the departments in that business unit, and then make sure that they deliver according to their KPI. So it is embedded in the KPI, it's embedded in the performance, and all of that, including the reporting emission, reduction of emissions, environmental initiatives, when you go social, how socially they are active, do they have a budget for CSR or not, and what exactly they're going. All that is in their annual plan. All together, they have contribute to the overall plan or the overall strategy that we have, and that's what exactly we show progress and assure them. We also run a number of initiatives, and these initiatives touches onto, for example, shipping, where we had the highest emission, so we have a number of emissions initiatives on how we can reduce emission. That's why they are outperforming the whole business. It's embedded in our normal business. Everyone knows in the beginning of the year, we put a plan. At the end of the year, we submit a plan with evidence for auditors to make sure that we comply and we deliver.
Very nice, interesting. It sounds like there is a lot of collaboration and cross-functional collaboration between all the different functions within the industry. Very nice, thank you, Essam. So Alia, how can energy companies demonstrate that sustainability performance reflects real operational progress and not just improved reporting?
I think we can see or create credibility when we see sustainability actually influencing operations. And I mentioned before the importance of governance and linking performance to remuneration and benefits, as well as integrating sustainability into business practices. For example, at OQ, we have decarbonization as a criteria in our project management framework. So before any investment decision is made, we assess the impacts of those projects, environmental impact or emissions impact before taking that decision. Also, if we look at the energy sector in specific, there are lots of opportunities which are linked to showcasing improvements by linking sustainability to operational metrics. For example, that can be our emissions intensity, energy efficiency, water consumption, waste management, and so on. And tracking that, so over time, we can use those numbers to tell a story of how the improvements were made.
Thank you, Alia. That's really insightful, and how you are embedding sustainability even in the early stages of project implementation. Let's talk more openly about the foundation of all this, which is data. So what are the biggest sustainability data and measurement challenges in Oman, and how can these be addressed at a national level? Maybe first, we started already with you. Maybe we give Alia a chance now. Maybe
Okay,
she will
thank you.
see you will get little pressure on you.
So one of the major challenges is around consistency, and this is because we are working on in different sectors. There are many reporting standards and calculation methodologies used. For example, in relation to calculating our greenhouse gas emissions. So if we want to communicate or understand our impact as a nation, it becomes difficult to consolidate all of these numbers since they're not really comparable. And an initiative is being led now by Oman Net Zero Center to communicate a unified standard and provide guidance. So we all report using the same language. We all speak in the same language. And another challenge is around data quality. Sometimes there are gaps because sustainability is still not a mainstream business. And these areas or gaps can be addressed and covered over time, especially when the companies are committed. The final point I'll make is around building the internal capabilities. So a lot of the reporting has to do with technical topics and criteria that require certain levels of expertise that we don't always have internally. So this is an area that we are working to build and cover, and it's in platforms like these where we have the opportunity to exchange our experiences and knowledge and continue engaging even when we go back to our businesses, that we can address these challenges, because they are not challenges that are sector specific. There are some challenges that are faced by all the companies that work on sustainability reporting.
Thank you, Alia. Essam, you have anything to add?
I think for us, this data is very important. There is many. There is one important reason behind it. It's a link to our ESG finance framework. So all this data that we have is linked to another framework we have, which is the ESG finance framework. What does mean? That we are committed to a banks that if we perform well, then we don't pay a penalty. But if you don't pay well, or you don't perform well, and based on the KPI we agree with the banks, and then we have to pay a penalty, and that's and the interest goes up higher in one of the green finance loans that we take them. So it's become very important to have right data, right information, and also because the banks they audit you as well, so they will have to audit. So the ESG finance framework works very well with our data, make sure that they are correct, and then we didn't give them all the data, but again, the key important data like emissions, like social impact, and the governance requirements. So these are in the ESG becoming very important where the banks with them. So anyone who can go or want to go for ESG finance framework, so you need to have right data, authenticated data, mean that with evidence, with number, and then you report on them year on year. If you fail so, then you have to pay a hefty amount of money, and that justifies spending money on right information, right tool, sometimes even collecting or having right people collecting the data. And that's where data is important. Although it was a challenge at the beginning, I can tell you that, it was extremely challenged, and it's still yet a challenge to many more, where some of the data are, even as Alia says, not authenticated, not accurate quality of data. We still have that problem in some other data, but not related to the banks. But that's where we have different reasons for that.
Alhamdulillah. So you're fine, alhamdulillah.
All right, I think then I'll tackle it from a national perspective rather than from a corporate perspective. I mean, my colleagues here have covered it very well when it comes to the challenges over there. And I think here what we have is an issue with fragmented data, right? A kind of a serious issue with fragmented data, because whenever you try to reach out to get data on a specific topic, you're not even sure where should I go for that specific data. You have an entity that has been designated in the country to be the custodian of most of the data, and that's where we normally go. But then you're sometimes interested in some very specific parameters or variables that would lead you to go to the, to the source of the or the owner of the data, right? And I think that's where we're lacking today, right? We've faced this so many times with trying to, extract data that can help us in planning in our some of our projects. I think, I believe investors also have that same challenge of trying to extract data that would help them make those critical investment decisions. And I think just the integration and collaboration in ensuring those are available when needed and when required, at the time required, is something that's going to be helpful to everyone at the nation level.
Definitely, definitely. So data is the most important thing in ESG. And I totally agree with all the different point of view you just mentioned. So Muhannad, from what you have seen across multiple organizations, what's the most common mistake you see when organizations try to report in sustainability?
Well, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but I would call it going through what Essam called the learning curve, right? As you start with your reporting, your objective is quite different than what it is when you're mature in the reporting side, right? As we mentioned at the beginning, it might be a compliance exercise. It might be a marketing exercise, even a branding exercise for some. And from there you start progressing towards a business tool, right? It turns completely into a business tool,
Yes.
right? A tool that you use to make informed decisions, right? And another thing would be to not pass the right information, right? Investors or stakeholders today are not just interested in your financial results, right? They're interested in so many things that would add up to inform them whether this is a sustainable investment even, right? And looking at it also from the other side. Sometimes you as an entity, you produce the report with specific information trying to pass specific messages, right? Maybe you're having challenges with some of the regulators, right? And it's critical to pass messages to them in so many different ways, right? One of them is your sustainability report, right? Those challenges are, those reports are actually are supposed to be read by regulators so they can understand the market, what's going on, and how they can overcome the challenges that the industry is facing. Right? So those are some of the challenges we've seen around.
Thank you very much. So Essam, from a logistic perspective, where is the pressure coming from? So what is driving sustainability? Is it customers' demand? Is it global trade requirement, regulations, or internal efficiency goals?
I think leave the internal efficiency because that's a given. We have to, we must do. But I think it's international demand is required. And I'll give you an example for that. We have a dry dock, and today, if you work in a dry dock, which is purely international, it's open ocean, international companies. If you don't report your scope 3, no one comes to your dry dock. That's exactly what it is. So we started reporting our scope 3 in the dry dock because it is international pressure. If you don't report your scope 3, you're being outside the market. And also because we go globally, so sometimes you need to have different standards for different countries. CSRD is not important for Oman, but again, sometimes you need to adapt it for your reporting mechanism. SASB was, for people maybe in Oman, it is fine. We don't need to report it because we use the GRI as a standard. But SASB, because we have international loans or green finance loans, and becoming a mandatory that we have to do. Also for our shipping lines, we have another standard we call Poseidon Principles. It's mainly exactly the GRI and everything, but again for the banks who actually operate in the maritime business, we also report on that standards. It's becoming like globally. We're coming back again even when we go to international, where we go in Europe, where a CBAM is mainly affected, or there is a requirement to report on your carbon, whatever carbon cargo you have. So you have to have a certificate on that, what exactly, how much carbon in the certificate. There's many international pressure if you work globally. But if you work in Oman, then you just need to comply your Muscat exchange, and that's it. But if you go globally, I think it's apply the same thing with OQ, where you have a global footprint, and you need a different standard to report to, and different pressure. It's not only the pressure. And I think that's one of the challenge. Now, ASYAD shipping, ASYAD logistics, our arms. We recently we acquire Legentia, which is an international company, where we also have exposed to their reporting lines, because they operate within 50 countries around the world, and then we have seen their footprints and where are the reporting. So they have to move different reporting, different regions, different nations, and that requires reporting as well. It's mainly if you don't report from this, and then you're different. You're maybe discard or not qualified. Similar to ISO when we started a long time ago. It's also as a commercial pressure. Today there are companies, they would like to work with sustainable one. For example, delivering cargoes at a lower emission that attract big players such as Adidas, Nike, IKEA. They want to deliver their goods at a lower emission or lower FAM, and that's becoming an important commercial element. If you don't operate in a green manner, we will not hire you, or we will go to someone who actually can give me the same service in a green manner. So we have a different either reporting manner or commercially, and they have to do. Then we go back to here in the region, and Forbes is like one indicator that shows that how exactly we are. In the past few years, Forbes have ranked ASYAD at the 4th in terms of logistics, sustainable logistics, and that exactly add more into your marketing elements, because it's Forbes is well organized, and they will ask a lot of questions to dig into how commercially you deliver your services, and then green delivery, it is an important one for us as well.
Thank you, Essam. That's very insightful. So, Alia, in the energy sector, the economics are the decision factors. Is the business case for sustainability already visible for the energy sector, and where are you seeing the strongest value today?
I think it is becoming more and more visible, and in certain areas more than others. So, for example, if we talk about operational efficiency, this is one of the quick wins. Optimizing resources, for example, OQ RPI was able to create cost savings of $17.1 million in just 1 year by implementing energy efficiency programs. There are also lots of opportunities linked to risk management. I'll speak a bit about climate risk and the extreme weather conditions that are becoming more and more frequent in Oman compared to 10 years ago. For example, I think all of you remember the heavy rainfall that we experienced during the last Eid holiday. And that had its impact on the business, disrupted business operations. So if we plan for those eventualities and scenarios in advance, and factor in that as part of our long-term planning, we will end up reducing costs, whether it's through less disruption to the business or lowering premiums, insurance premiums. Also, as my colleagues had mentioned and other sessions had mentioned previously, sustainable finance is a great opportunity to access capital at a lower price. And all of these things are interlinked, and they're very much related to practicing sustainability. And the closer that we have it to our DNA or business as usual, the more opportunities we can unlock.
Thank you, Alia. So we have talked about progress, challenges, drivers, and value. Let's zoom out a little bit one more time. I promise this is the last question. And let's be realistic. What is the one thing that's holding Oman's sustainability ecosystem back right now? Maybe we can just have a brief from each.
Sure. I mean, if I had to pick one, I would say the gap between ambition and integration. Right? We have amazing ambitions. We have nice plans. I think we even have very clear KPIs on a national level. We have the Vision 2040 with clear KPIs on every sector. And it's our time now to fill that gap between all those plans and how to ensure implementation is done the right way and integrated the right way, right? And instead of, having silos all around the nation and individualistic, let's say, approaches, I think integration between the different sectors, between the different entities, on the common goals that we have, that would be one challenge that I believe can help us go forward.
Thank you, Essam.
I think I just second his opinion as well. And also, I can tell you is also financing. For example, the decarbonization plan, we have fantastic plans in paper, but executing them require funding, require financing, and that's the big challenge we have. No one is willing to put money in their mouth. We have done that in ASYAD. It was taken us very hard time, a little bit more, but we have people who believe in sustainability, and because we're going global, and that's why becoming important. But in Oman, they need to understand what's happening around the world. We shouldn't listen to Trump, but again, that we should do the right thing. And the right thing that we've been affected by climate change, climate action. So we need to deliver to whatever the science tell us, not what exactly our mind tell us. And we need to deliver the task. So reduction in emission is important. How and what, that's required funding. And then focusing on other elements is important as well.
Thank you, Essam. Alia?
I echo both points. And so we need to accelerate the pace at which we integrate sustainability in our core business and look at the long term. Yes, the market is changing. It has changed in the recent years. Lots of regulations have been relaxed, but we need to think about the future of the upcoming generations and how we can sustain our practices in a way that creates positive impact on people and the environment.
Thank you, Alia, and thank you everyone for such an open and insightful discussion. So what's clear is that sustainability is no longer a vision in Oman. It's being actually shaped by different industries across different sectors. And the challenge now is scaling what works, learning from what doesn't, and continuing to turn ambitions into real and measurable impact. So thank you very much, our panelists for today. I don't know if anyone from the audience have any question.
Thank you for amazing session and thank you for the panelists. Just I have a question from the government perspectives. How we can transfer those knowledge to the government perspectives report as maybe everyone knows, government, they don't have any sustainable report. This year, actually, we're working on it, Ministry of Transport, they are working on it and they get and some question they get some difficulties because some question there was categorized as companies give it to us like as a company's objectives or like a company's goal. It is different. Government, I think it's different from the company's achievement or goals or rules what they are doing. Thank you.
Okay, if I get the question correct, so we're talking about the different objectives
How
the
we can
government entities would have.
How we can transfer those sustainable report to the government?
Okay.
Yeah, the government they don't have this culture, as I know.
Sure.
Maybe
No.
knowledge
Yeah.
transfer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's again, we just use different terms, right? Ministries and government entities do actual reporting, right? They do it continuously, right? They just don't call it sustainability reports, and they don't follow probably some of the internationally recognized disclosures or standards like GRI and so on, right? But they do the reporting. Yes, lots of it can be confidential, lots of it can be, I mean, presented in public, but they actually do it. And I think that takes us back to the point of entities reporting on what's interesting to them, on what kind of messages they want to pass to the government and the regulators, specifically in the government, so these can be tackled, right? And if we're talking specifically about Oman, you can see it happening all around the place now, right? You have lots of people seconded all around the different entities, right? Sharing the knowledge, right? Between the private sector, the government, the industry, and academia too, right? So I think it's happening. I believe it's happening. It's just need to be a bit more directed and governed to ensure that it delivers on the targets of the government entities specifically. Yeah? That answered your question, yeah?
Good afternoon. Thank you for all of your insights. In terms of communicating your ESG results to your employees, to the public, or to the government, what are some of the challenges you have in terms of communicating your successes and challenges in tackling ESG?
Okay, I'll start with that. I think we have our internal communications where we communicate to employees. It's also the final year result because it's related to KPI. Everyone interested to see how much exactly we score end of the year, and that affected their bonus. So definitely. So if everyone don't perform well, they will definitely come. Okay, we should do better next year, because the KPIs in government-owned companies are related to performance of their own performance, bonus sometimes, and that's where it's becoming important. So they all have to deliver to a highest notch, because that's linked to the overall performance of the company, the business, the organization itself. So they know. If they know, they have to find out, because at the end of the day, if nothing go to the bank, then they must be affected.
Yeah, can I add?
Yes, go ahead.
So, just to add on that, we're working now on communicating our sustainability commitments and also performance in a way that is more user-friendly, as opposed to having one chunky PDF file that is downloaded. Having bits of information on different platforms, whether they're internal platforms or externally on our website, on our social media, on LinkedIn, and so on, to make that information more accessible and readily available to a wider group of audience.
Thank you. I think no more questions. There's one more question.
Actually, I got a question for you. So at the beginning, when you build your system for ESG, what do you think is the biggest challenge, and how do you solve it?
System of ESG.
If we're talking about building system for reporting purposes, is that what you're talking about?
No, I mean the ESG structure for your company.
Yes.
So at the beginning, when you build the system, So what do you think the biggest challenge and how will you solve it?
I think if we're talking the same thing here, it's what we talked about here, which is data, right? Data has always been the most challenging part, right? The availability of data, the quality of the data, and the customization of data, right? Having a data repository that is used by everyone consistently is quite an important thing. When it comes to reporting, I mean, majority of us, I believe, use a standard reporting procedure or a disclosure.
Okay, I think there is no more question. Well, yeah, we can wrap up. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ala.